Hey, what's up guys? Michelle here and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, it's gonna be a back to a basics makeup tutorial. Now this video is actually dedicated to my three girls, Nayla, Florencia, and Sabrine. If you guys follow me on my social medias, I'm sure you guys have seen these lovely superstars. The friend in the group that knows about makeup, and they have recently found out that I do have a channel. Like, they've been knowing, but like, you know, it's like talked about and then I stop talking about it because I get like really nervous and anxious when people find out that I have a YouTube channel and make videos. I try to keep it as like low profile as possible. I'm not trying to be like I have a YouTube channel, but my friend Nayla, I've been friends with her the longest. She is my #1 supporter in all of this, and I thought about her when it comes to making this video because she's so interested in makeup and in learning. And I woke up one morning and I'm like, I'm gonna do a video for these girls because, you know, they want to learn, and I know some of my makeup videos are really quick or they're really extravagant, and not a lot of people like to do makeup like that. So I want to go for a more basic, you know, step-by-step video for you guys for when we go out. They just kind of play this and go with it. So I'm gonna make this as easy as possible for you guys. Keep it simple, not too much of a glam, like huge glam, just kind of like a regular everyday type of thing. Again, back to basics. So yeah, in today's video is gonna be just chill back, relax. As you can see, it's not usually how I have my makeup videos set up. I have it on my little tripod in a box right in front of me. As you can see my garage closet. You see where I keep my makeup over here. I'm just gonna keep it super simple and super relaxed and just kind of talk to you guys about makeup. And yeah, I'm really excited. I feel like I haven't filmed a makeup video in such a long time. I've just been so focused on my weight loss, and I know a lot of my new subscribers are here for my weight loss videos, but I do also love doing beauty videos as well, and I hope that's okay with you guys. I'm sure, I mean, who doesn't love a little glam? I know most of my subscribers are girls, so I'm pretty sure this video is going to be helpful to not only my friends, but my friends on here on the internet, just to kind of go back to basics. I know there's a lot of makeup tutorials that it's like really heavy glam, and it's kind of not relatable, so I want to make a video that can be relatable to everyone to do their makeup and just learn. Like I said before in my previous videos, I'm no professional. I've never taken classes. I've learned all through YouTube, and I feel like you kind of learn on your own on what you like and what you don't like, but it's always good to have a video to kind of go back to and kind of see, you know, how to do things. So to get started, I'm gonna do my brows. Yes, I do my brows first. I feel, especially if you're a beginner when it comes to brows, always do your brows first, and this is why. If you do your brows last already when your foundation is on, if you do a mistake, it's a lot harder to fix it. I like to do brows at first, just because it's a lot safer that way, and it's just a lot easier, and usually brows take the longest, especially when it comes to beginners. Guys, use pencils. I feel like pomades and powders are just a little more advanced. The easiest thing for me has been pencils, and this is an extremely affordable and best pencil out there, to be honest, and this is the ColourPop Brow Boss pencil. I've gone through like 4 or 5 of these already, and they work the easiest, they're cheap, and it gets the job done, to be honest. Now, when it comes to brows, everyone's brows are different, so don't really take my advice for my brows. This is just how I like to do my brows. A lot of people like to start doing their brows from the bottom. I like to do my brows from the top because, I don't know, I feel like that's just the easiest for me. I used to, like, when I tell you that when it comes to makeup, you're gonna learn how the easiest way for you to do it as you get more comfortable with makeup. So yeah, so I'm just kind of following the shape of my brow, nothing too crazy on top. And then I'm going to kind of like extend my brow so I kind of know where to stop. Then I'm gonna start kind of connecting it in. And then from there, I'm going to just start shaping my brow. So yeah, so I'm just gonna follow the natural shape of my brows. Yeah, and another advice when it comes to brows, you guys, if you already have nice brows, don't go too crazy with it. Just kind of fill it in a little bit, give yourself a little extended tail, and that's about it. But I feel like some people have really nice eyebrows and feel the need to like overfill and like make the shape a lot more dramatic. And also another trick that helps me, at least when it comes to using brow pencils, is I like to extend it like pretty long. So when it's long like this and you hold it from the back, you get lighter strokes, and it's a lot easier. Because the closer you hold the pencil, it's gonna be a lot more harsh. So if you hold it from afar, you get light, perfect strokes. So make sure to hold the pencil from behind, not like you're about to write a fucking essay. So as you go, just make sure to spoolie it out so the product evenly distributes. Alrighty guys, so now that we have our eyebrows nice and done, it's time to set our brows, which is very, very important, and a lot of people skip this step, but I used to skip this step until I realized how important it is to set your eyebrows. So this is the NYX Control Freak Eyebrow Gel. It's just clear eyebrow gel. This is the best and the cheapest that I've used. So basically it's just clear mascara for your brows, and this is gonna help your brows stay on all day, all night, whatever. The last thing you need is to be dancing and you do this and woof, there goes your brow. And also if you have crazy brows like me, my hairs tend to go all over the place, so this tames it really, really good. So it's time to moisturize. Now this is my favorite moisturizer. I've talked about this since the beginning of time on my channel. This is the Pond's moisturizer, the blue one. This is the one for very, very dry skin. This has been my holy grail. I love this stuff. Since I do work out in the sun, my face recently has been so dry, and I know my other lovely friends, Nayla, Florencia, and Sabrine, they also work on the beach. We all work on the beach. How adorable is that? And I know for a fact that they don't moisturize their face before they do their makeup. So this is me telling you guys, moisturize your fucking face. Boy! Oh my god. Can we please talk about this? I feel like I'm in high school again. My boyfriend left me a hickey. So now I'm going to clean my brows. You can skip this step. I like to do this because it seems cleaner that way. It seems a lot nicer that way. Same reason why I do my eyebrows before is the same reason I do my eyes first. Let's say you do your foundation first and you do your eyes and you decide to do this beautiful, gorgeous, red, smoky eye. You will always have fallout. I don't care what product you use, you will always have fallout. Imagine doing this perfect base makeup and then you're doing your eyebrow and then you don't notice till the end that you have all this red shit and it looks like you're fucking, like you haven't slept for days. So the brush that I use to clean my brows, this has been the best brush and it cost me $1. I literally got it at the dollar store. You can also get it anywhere where Wet n Wild products are sold, but this is the Wet n Wild angled brush. This is what I use to shape out my brows and clean out my brows. So let's say you messed up on your brows, you can always go back and just kind of shape it out. And I'm just gonna use some concealer and I'm just going to shape out my brow and clean out my brow. And then from there I'm gonna start pulling the concealer down just so it can be a base for our eyeshadow. So I'm only gonna take a little bit on the brush and I'm just gonna shape out my brows. And also another important thing, when it comes to choosing your concealer that you are going to prep your eye with, make sure you use something that is not too light. For example, so if you use a concealer like this to prep your eye, you're most likely gonna have like a white cast and it's really hard to get rid of it. Even as much eyeshadow as you use, it's still gonna look way too light. So I always recommend using a much darker concealer, kind of like the concealer that you use under your eyes, even a little darker. That way when you put on eyeshadows, it just kind of like looks seamless. It looks like you didn't have to prep your eye. If that makes any sense, it looks like you just kind of like whipped it on and that's it. But yeah, try to stay far away from light concealers. I know a lot of people like to use lighter concealers for brighter colors. That just doesn't work out for me. I don't like the look it gives. If there's one thing I hate, it's seeing like a beautiful eyeshadow look and then like white like right on top of the brows and under the brow bone. I don't think it looks nice. Okay, so now that we have carved out our brows, now it's time to set the rest. So I'm just gonna take the same concealer and just dot it on. You don't need a lot. And then I'm going to blend it out with a beauty sponge. This is from Real Techniques. You can get a regular beauty blender or the one from Real Techniques. The one from Real Techniques works just as good as a beauty blender. A beauty blender is $20 at Sephora, and this I think is like maybe $6 at Ulta, and it works just as good. Another important thing when it comes to your beauty sponge is always wet your beauty sponges. It makes a world of a difference. I know, trust me, I used to be so lazy and never ever wet my sponge. I used to actually hate it, but trust me when I tell you, it is so much better to wet your sponge. It just makes the sponge a lot softer and it feels a lot more refreshing, and it makes the products go on a lot better when your sponge is wet. It just sets to the skin a lot nicer. So get your ass up and go wet your sponge. So once everything is looking clean, good, blended out, we're just going to set it, and I'm going to set it with my Airspun. You can find Airspun at any drugstore. And I'm going to use the same sponge, and I'm just gonna dip it on there and just kind of place it on my eye. So now that our concealer is set, it's time to do eyeshadow. Now for today's look, I'm not really going to do an eyeshadow look. I'm going to focus it more on eyeliner, but I'm going to put a little bit of color on the lid just to kind of give it some more oomph, but nothing too crazy, something really neutral and easy for you guys. So for the palette that I'm going to be using, it's going to be my All Reliable, my Jaclyn Hill palette. I feel like this palette, even for beginners, is the best because the colors blend out so smoothly and so easily, and it's such a universal palette. If you want to go for something colorful, you can. If you want to go for something darker light, you can. And yeah, we're gonna focus mostly on these colors right over here, something easy to start with. And we're just gonna put like a nice light brown on our eyes. And for the brush that I'm going to be using, it's my Morphe E27 brush. And this is a fluffy brush. When you're starting to do makeup, the easiest thing to use are big fluffy brushes. If you use more dense brushes, it's going to be a lot harder, because if you use smaller brushes, it's a lot more precise, if that makes any sense. So it's a lot more harsh and it's a lot harder to blend out. When you use big fluffy brushes, you can get the color all over your lid easy and quick. So with my Morphe E27 brush, I'm gonna go in with this shade right over here. When you want to start doing your eyeshadow, you always want to start with a light color first. Never go for the dark ones first, especially if you're new to makeup. Always start light and then work your way out. So I'm going to put some on my brush, and I'm just gonna start blending that out everywhere. And see, since we used a neutral concealer and not a really light concealer, it's giving us a beautiful highlight under our brow without having to use an eyeshadow. And another trick when it comes to makeup, there's a lot of tricks when it comes to makeup. You can use one simple eyeshadow and make it seem like you're using like 3 different eyeshadows. So as you can see, I was focusing the color here up front, and then whatever was left over I'd bring to the back, and then as I add more and more shadow, I start to put it lower. So before I was focusing it all over the eye, and now I'm going to start focusing more towards the lid, right there on our crease. I'm sorry. So if you don't know where your crease is right here where the shape of your eye is. If you don't know where your crease is, my best bet is to kind of like tilt your head back and kind of see where your eye socket is. Wherever your eye socket is, that is your crease. So yeah, so I'm gonna start focusing the same eyeshadow right there on our crease, and it's gonna give us kind of like a really nice dimension to our eye. So to give our eye just a little bit of dimension, I'm gonna go in with a little darker brown. So I'm gonna go in this one right here. This is actually like a burnt orange. So I'm going to take this, and this is my Morphe M505 brush. Same thing, it's a fluffy blending brush, just not as big as the other one. And all I'm gonna do is right here on our outer third, on our crease, I'm just gonna start building that color in, just to give us some color. And one thing that has really helped me when it comes to doing my eyeshadow is kind of trying to keep my eye relaxed and open. That way you know where to stop. And now it's time for eyeliner. Now I know a lot of people get scared when it comes to eyeliner, but again, eyeliner is the same thing with anything else in your makeup routine. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. Everyone has their own ways of doing it. This is the way that I do it. This is the easiest way that I've found to do and the most comfortable. So the product that I'm using today is the Ruby Kiss Liquid Genius eyeliner. It's been the one that I've been using for a while now. The wand itself just makes it so much easier. So it looks like a little paintbrush like this. So the best way to do eyeliner is honestly finding brushes like this. So this one from Ruby Kiss is the blackest that I can find, and it does dry out a little shiny. I would much prefer like matte blacks, but honestly this does it really good, and it's really affordable. So for eyeliner, this is how I like to do it. So I'm going to start off by slowly, very slowly, with very minimal product. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to try to keep it as thin and as close to the lash line as possible. That way it's a lot easier to build up instead of having to work with the super thick line in the beginning and having to like even it out. So yeah, I'm gonna try to go really slowly and as thin as possible. Ooh, and another big trick when it comes to doing your eyeliner, let it dry and keep your eye relaxed. Always keep your chin up and let your eyeliner dry. If not, it's gonna get all over the place. So best bet is put your mirror up and always look down. That way, if you look down, there's no way you're gonna open your eye and ruin your eyeliner. So now comes the wing, the part that everyone gets scared about. So boom, like that. So I start from the top. And then from the top, I connect the bottom. Guys, I told you, I'm no professional. So this is what we're gonna do. So even though it looks like shit from the bottom, always focus more on the top because the bottom we can fix. You can't fix the top. So make sure you get the shape you really want on top. And then from there, you start working from the bottom. So what helps me is getting a wipe, putting it around your nail, moisturize it, and then we're gonna start cleaning it from here. Hence why I told you guys to do your eyes first. There we go, you see? Okay, did my eyes just randomly decide to get watery? Oh my god. I'm crying. If this does happen, or if you got into a fight with your boyfriend or something while you're doing your makeup, look down, never look up, because then that's how you're gonna fuck up your eyeliner. Another eyeliner tip. So now that we are done with eyeliner, we are going to now go on to eyelashes. So before I do eyelashes, I like to put black eyeliner right here under the lash line. And if you're new to putting eyeliner here on top, just look down and do it. That way your eyes don't get watery. Okay, so once we coated them with mascara, now it's time to talk about eyelashes. So when it comes to eyelashes, this is probably the question that I get asked the most, is how to put on eyelashes. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do it. So my trick when it comes to putting on eyelashes is tweezers. Now I know there's a lot of people who put on their eyelashes with their fingers. I have really long nails, so that is like impossible to me. And since the beginning of time when I used to do my makeup, these have been the only pair of tweezers that I use, and it makes my life so much easier. And I got these tweezers at Target. You can find these at Target. I saw them yesterday and these are the best. So get a pair of tweezers that are angled. So as you can see, it's like an angled tweezer, and it's gonna make putting on your eyelashes that much easier. The glue that I use, this has been honestly my favorite glue, eyelash glue that I've ever used. This is the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive, and this is the one with aloe, and it's the clear one. Ooh, you can buy this literally anywhere, Walmart, Target. For today's lashes, I will be using Miami Lily lashes in the style Miami. So you guys can see right here. I'm more of a dramatic lash type of girl, only because I have really big eyes and like lid space. Now the lashes that I recommend for beginners are Ardell lashes. You can find those literally everywhere. I'm pretty sure everyone has had a pair of Ardell lashes. I feel like their band is really easy to work with and they glide on and they're so easy to put on. I'm not gonna be using them today because these are just my ride or die. And when it comes to eyelashes, always make sure that it fits your eye. Sometimes people buy eyelashes and they don't measure it to their eye, so sometimes it'll seem like really long and it'll look really weird. So always make sure when you buy new eyelashes to put them on top and kind of measure it and make sure that it fits your eye shape. So when you first get eyelashes, put it on before you put on the glue, kind of measure it out, trim it to your liking, and then it is time to go. What works for me is putting the tweezer right in the middle. You want to place it right here in the middle. So as you can see, I'm grabbing it right there in the middle of the lash. That way you get the best hold. So always make sure that on your tweezer, there's no glue on the tweezer. So get a wipe and just kind of pick at it, because if there is a glue on your tweezer, when you go to put it on and you put it perfectly placed on your eye, when you try to take out the tweezer will take your eyelash. Okay, so now that we've put an even layer of eyelash glue on your eyelash, it should look like this. So as you can see, the glue looks blue. Once it starts to kind of dry out clear, that's when it's time to put it on. My best advice is never put on the glue and right onto your eye. Always let the glue get tacky first. Why? Because that way, once it sticks onto your eye, it's gonna stay there and it's not gonna move. If you don't let it dry, once you put it in, it's gonna be harder to adjust to your eye because it's gonna be wet and it's gonna get all over the place. The glue is gonna get all over the place. So just be patient, hold on to the lash. Once it starts turning clear, that's when it's ready to go. And same thing when it comes to eyelashes, always look down instead of up. If you look up, it's just gonna make the process a lot harder. So just flip your mirror up and look down, and that way you get the best application. So how I'm going to do it is, so you see I'm going to put it right on the middle. There you go, you see? So since it is a little dry, it's already gonna stick onto there. And then you're going to adjust out first and then in. So you wanna make sure it fits your eye perfect right there. And then the middle. And there you go, guys. I'm telling you, the tweezer and this eyelash glue, you can never go wrong. As you can see, the glue dried out so quick and it makes your life so much easier. Get yourself a pair of tweezers that you're most comfortable with, and I promise you putting on eyelashes will be the easiest thing. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the face. So obviously you guys see that my face is all moisturized from the moisturizer earlier, and now we're gonna go for primer. Now when it comes to primer, it all is based on your skin. If you have oilier skin, if you have dry skin. Right now my skin is really dry, so today I'm gonna be using the Photo Focus Lumi primer, but usually I go for the NYX Angel Veil. This one is super good and really nice to fill in your pores. But my #1 favorite pore filling primer has to be the Maybelline Baby Skin. I've talked about this in almost all of my videos because this is all I use. It just works so good, and it makes your skin look flawless, literally like baby skin. They ain't lying. But for today, I'm going to be using these two. So this one to moisturize my face a little more, and this to fill in my pores. Another thing, guys, it's really important to prime your face. It makes a huge difference when it comes to putting on foundation and how long your makeup is going to last. So never skip primer. Primers work. I know a lot of people say that primers don't, but one day use a primer and one day don't, and then tell me a story. Now our skin is prepped and primed, and now we're going to move on to foundation. And for foundation today, I'm actually using a new foundation that I picked up yesterday at Target because a lot of my foundations were really drying me out. So for today, I'm going to be using the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Liquid Makeup, and this is in the shade 85 Honey. And I'm just going to put this on with the same sponge we use for prepping our eyes. Again, guys, really important when it comes to doing your foundation is to wet your sponge. It makes a huge difference. It just makes the product really sink into your skin nicely. I guess you could say the word is refreshing, because if you have it dry, then it's gonna feel really dry on your skin, and it's gonna feel more like dirty, like dirt on your skin. When you put it on with a wet beauty sponge, it just feels so much nicer. And a trick to when it comes to doing your foundation, I always like to start first here around my nose and work my way out so I don't use as much product. And then I like to work my way under right here on the chin. Do not forget your chin, guys. Everyone loves to make fun of the girls that their foundations doesn't match their neck, but then I see some people forgetting to blend down to their neck. So now that we have our foundation on, we are going to put on some concealer. So for today's concealer, I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer in the shade 385 Amber. And when it comes to concealer, guys, I know you see a lot of people on YouTube literally go crazy with concealer. Now the trick is just to go a little bit right here. Focus your product right here, and I'm gonna let it sit there for a sec. Why are we gonna let it sit there for a sec? Because if you let it sit, your concealer there for a second, you're gonna get the most color payoff. If you blend it out right away, it's not gonna be as full coverage. So the trick when it comes to concealer, like I said before, is that you focus the concealer right here, so when you blend out the product, you have the least amount of product going far out. If you have way too much product, I know you see a lot of people put on concealer all the way through, and then they have like this really white under eye, and it's really hard to blend out, and then when you blend it out with like bronzer or something after, it just looks really rough and not so much natural. So now to set the rest of my face, I'm gonna go in with my Airspun powder that I used earlier to set my eyes. And the same thing, guys, I'm going to use my sponge, dip it on there, and focus it on the areas where my foundation gets to crease. and then work my way out. And then my best trick here is to put translucent powder under your neck. Why is it important to put translucent powder under your neck, you may ask? Because this is what's going to avoid when you see someone or you meet someone or putting on your clothes, so it doesn't stick to someone else's clothes. And what I like to do is let the translucent powder kind of set a little bit onto your skin. That is how it's going to last all day or all night, and then also around your nose. And now it is time to bronze the face. Now I usually cream contour, but since this is a back to basics, I'm just gonna do simple and I'm gonna use bronzer. Now the bronzer that I absolutely love and it's the easiest to use and it blends out seamlessly is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and this is in deep tan. As you can see, I've used it a lot. Now I don't really contour my face, I kind of bronze my face. I feel like my face is a little too wide to like fully contour, and it really won't make that much of a difference unless I'm like doing like a Halloween look or something. But I like to keep it light and just bronze up my face. And now the brushes that I like to use to bronze up my face are angled brushes like this. It just makes it a lot easier and you get a really good shape like that. And this one I got at CVS. The CVS brand works just as good. So how I'm gonna start is I always start my bronze on my forehead. Now, if you have a bigger forehead, people always say to focus the bronzer right here. Now I have a really small forehead, but I like to bronze here anyway. So I start right here on top, on both sides, and then I work my way down right here to the temple. And then I'm going to put the brush this way and start bronzing. There we go. And with any leftover product, I like to put on my cheek just so it seems seamless and natural. I'm not a big fan of blush. I like to seem more kind of bronzed. And now for blush, like I said before, I'm not a big blush person, but I always like to put just the tiniest bit. Now this is the Note blush in Desert Rose, and what I'm going to do is just use a fluffy brush like this, kind of pat it a little bit, tap out the excess, smile, and put right there lightly on my cheekbones and put it out. Just so it connects seamlessly. When you put on blush, you don't want to just put it right there on your cheeks because then you're gonna see the pink and then the bronze. So always remember to go out with the blush. So now that we kind of finished the face, I'm gonna go back to the eyes. So what I like to do is I'm going to now smoke out the lower lash line, and I'm going to use this Vintage Cosmetics brush. It's just a smudger brush. A brush like this is the easiest for me to smudge out my lower lash line. And I'm gonna go in with the brown shade that we use on our eyes on top. And I'm going to just smoke out my lower lash line. So what I like to do for my lower lash line is just kind of get like a spoolie like this, grab some product from the mascara, and put it on my lower lash line. That way you get really precise and you don't mess up. And then to finish on the eyes, this is for you, Nayla. This is my little trick that makes any eye shadow or any look really pop out, and it's a really bright inner corner highlight. Now my favorite inner corner highlight is from the Soap Culture palette. I'm not saying you should go and buy the Soap Culture palette only for this shade, but I would, to be honest. It's just that good. The pressed pigments on this palette is so good, it's insane. For today we're going to be using the shade Cubed, and I'm using my Morphe M508 brush. You need this brush. If there's a brush in all of this that I would say you need to buy from Morphe, it's this one. This is the perfect inner corner highlight brush, and this will change your makeup game forever. There are times where I will fuck up on my eyeshadow, but I'll make sure my inner corner is so good that you can't even pay attention to my other eyeshadow. So we're just gonna dip right into Cube. You're gonna see the difference that this is gonna make. So you're gonna put it right here on this little socket, and you're gonna press down. So you wanna work your way with this. You don't wanna put too much product at first, because then you're gonna look crazy. So you see, an inner corner highlight honestly can change up your makeup. You don't even have to be a pro to do this. There you go, guys. So eyes are done, ready to go. So now we are going to do highlight. So for today's highlight, I am going to be using the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible palette. I believe you still can purchase this. This is a perfect beginner's palette because it has eyeshadows and highlights, and you're about to see how amazing this highlight is. So my favorite highlighting brush is this Morphe M501 brush. I feel like fan brushes just kind of give you like that streak line and it's not cute. So this is kind of just a big fluffy brush, and what I'm going to do is take this shade right over here, and I'm going to smile like this and just do it right here on the apple of my cheek and work my way out. Apple of my cheek, work my way up. You want to focus the product more here so people see you, it glows. You don't want to put too much on top here. And I'm going to put a little bit on the tip of my nose. I also like to put it right here on my chin. Basically anywhere the light hits your face. And then also right here on top of my brow. Now for lips today, I'm using my Jordana Sweet Cream Liquid Lip, and this is in Cinnamon Toast. And now for the final step is to set your face. This is a huge part of your makeup routine. It is to set your face. So when you're doing your makeup and you notice that your face looks a little dusty or looks a little like dry, this is what's gonna make it not be dry. It's setting your face. Setting your face is so important for long-lasting makeup wear and just so your makeup sits really well and kind of melts into your skin. Like I said before, my skin has been on the drier side, so for today I'm using my NYX Dewy Finish Spray, and what I'm gonna do is just spray it around. Make sure you have something to fan yourself after, because if not, you're gonna go crazy with this dripping down your face. All right guys, and here is the completed look. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got some tips and tricks from this video as well. I hope it was helpful. I definitely had a lot of fun just chilling, hanging out, talking to you guys about makeup, kind of on my basics and my tricks when it comes to my makeup. If you did learn anything from this, make sure to leave it on the comments down below. If there's any questions you have about makeup or any video requests, also leave it down below in the comments section. Make sure to follow me on all of my social medias that I leave linked down below. I always DM back and I follow back as well. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on my next one. Mwah.